Hey, how's it going? In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at UK's battery strategy and try to understand what's happening within UK. I have reached out to people who are working in developing that. So myself, I understand the process very well, how to do the project, how to build the project, and how to release that project. Myself, something I understand. If anything, I'm looking to understand the government strategy and how you're looking to support those people who are actually doing it. So good. If you're doing something, you have a strategy, which is kind of great. I'm all about the strategy, right? So perhaps, so if there was perhaps two or three people, perhaps they would hire another three, which would be double the workforce required to do it, right? In particular, when we're working in developing new technologies, when it comes to strategy and new battery technologies, right? There's so many different ways how it can potentially be done. In particular, there's a lot of promising ways how it could be done. Not necessarily would be very easy to scale those processes, but there are different processes when it comes to building those battery technologies. So how we can extend length of the battery technologies. We can do it, but perhaps not the number of units that would be required for everyone. Perhaps small batches, right? Perhaps hundreds of batteries, not necessarily thousands or even millions of batteries. So perhaps, uh, if anything, I haven't read this strategy yet, so I'm thinking about how we're gonna address that, and perhaps they would purchase or acquire new people, new machinery. How we're gonna scale some of those processes so it could be delivered, and perhaps a lot of value for taxpayers, since we're taking a look at the government's website and some of the strategies set up with this document. Let's take a look at it. Let's start with a quick introduction. There's off strategy. It's close to 70 pages, 69 pages, right? So it might be too much to cover within the enough detail. Perhaps worth sharing that in the description of this video for people who are interested. Other than that, I could briefly take a look at my own personal perspective and share some information with people who are interested, since there might be a lot of promising opportunities when it comes to battery technologies, right? Forwarded from the minister, batteries will play an essential role in energy transition and your ability to successfully achieve net zero by 2050. High capacity, reliable, rechargeable batteries are a critical component of many devices, modes of transport, and our evolving energy generation capability. Today we published UK's first battery strategy alongside advanced manufacturing plan. This includes government's commitment in over 2 billion in new capital and research and development funding being made available for automotive sector. Again, automotive. So we talk about perhaps five different manufacturing companies, 10 tops, right? So we have about two manufacturers coming from Germany, about two coming from India that was recently acquired. Some of those automotive giants within the UK. So we have about four, and we now are taking a look at one coming from Japan, right? The Nissan. So five companies perhaps. We perhaps I don't know, seven the tops, right, that I haven't covered yet. 10, perhaps a couple of smaller players, but that's it. That's it. About 10. You're looking only to support automotive, right? But I don't know. I don't know. There should be more opportunities out there for entry level, how more companies can tackle some of those problems, right? But they're looking at the large scale projects that and cost effective, perhaps supporting only top companies and having those hard to entry barriers of entering some of those markets. Perhaps there is some some reasoning why politics would prefer to keep things in that particular way, whatever reason might be. Supporting the manufacturing and development of zero emission vehicles. Good, good. The batteries and supply chain for 5 years to 2030. The strategy represents the whole of UK's government's effort to developing new businesses, Developing new businesses, it's not how I would put it. Developing new businesses, that would mean not supporting those 5 or 10 companies that what I would consider developing new businesses, perhaps building opportunities to enter those markets for new companies to build those vehicles, you know. Where it's been covered within this article how we're going to do that, or we're building or giving access to some of those new 20 businesses. Let's cover that in more detail to enter and develop new businesses other than supporting those existing businesses. Developing new vehicles, oh, yeah, that's correct. Not developing new businesses, not new businesses, new vehicles for existing businesses. For people who don't know, right? They would so develop when they say developing new businesses, what they will ask you, what's the minimum order quantity if your business who is looking to developing new business, right? If your minimum order quantity would be 50 units or battery units, those people won't even talk with your business unless your minimum order quantity is about 5,000 units. Then they would might be interested in having conversation with you. So they're looking to support existing businesses, not develop new businesses. So just to make things clear, those existing businesses who can make minimum order quantity about 2,000 or more units, right? Not 50 units. The government's 2030 vision is for UK to have a globally competitive battery supply chain that supports economic prosperity and the net zero transition. The UK will be world leader in sustainable battery design and manufacture. I don't think it's always gonna be. Hopefully it will, but I would doubt it. The top 10 companies who can develop those battery technologies and do that right now, out of 10, 6 of those companies are within China, right? Top performing companies when it comes to battery technology. 6 of those in China, and it's just because they have all the natural resources and they have started that and been within battery technology for quite some time, right? So it's something. This is what's happening. I wish it so they could address that, right? To be fair, right? So everything what's happening, so they can develop new businesses so it will be more competitive down the line, perhaps not necessarily next 5 year period of time, but perhaps next 10 year. So how they can develop new businesses, and again we it's more the law of attraction. So they're saying, "Oh, this is what UK is gonna be." Okay, so how are you gonna do that if you're gonna support only those existing 5 to 10 businesses? How UK gonna be that if entry level of those companies is so high? Batteries represents one of the highest growth clean energy sector, and UK is well placed to reap the rewards thanks to their competitive advantages in research and advanced manufacturing. There is an infrastructure when it comes to manufacturing, high-end manufacturing, right? Not necessarily processing of raw materials, not necessarily this part, right? But once you have those raw materials, when it comes to processing those raw materials, perhaps yes, perhaps this is what they're trying to highlight. Infrastructure to process that, infrastructure more, and so perhaps is there, right? Some perhaps they need more people, but need new machinery. But other that part of supply chain, yes, this part is there. But how you're gonna acquire those raw materials is a different question, as well as perhaps there should be more support than having enough people to work with the smaller players, right? So that will be more competitive. Not necessarily those limited companies, right? Or perhaps I don't want to either way. It's perhaps to make it more balanced, right? So they have highlighted, right? Research at University of Oxford in the 1970s made lithium-ion batteries possible, but today most industrial rechargeable batteries are manufactured in East Asia. So top companies, right? Uh, Many reasons. Some of those being they do have a lot of access to natural resources, but that's just a part of that. And overall, top manufacturing facilities for whatever reason might be there. The UK and other industrial countries are responding, uh, not necessarily taking proactive decisions. This is what's missing, taking proactive decisions, what they're actually doing, they're responding. It's already lost game. It's already lost. It's already lost game. But okay. Countries are responding to the challenge given the importance of the growth of the sector and its critical role in ensuring our economic security. So at least they're doing something. Responding, lack of understanding. Perhaps there should be more people who perhaps should scream that they should do more. Perhaps it's something I'm looking to do right now as well. If we're responding and not taking proactive actions to do that, even if we are taking a look at something as simple as the recycling of batteries, so it could be all the most of the components reused, right? So when we talk about battery technology, how advanced recycling and reusability of those components are in Asia compared to UK, right, or other areas. They so ahead. They so ahead of everything. I don't know how accurate this information. It would say that it's about 98% of all the materials can be recycled there. So not necessarily something that recent article was published about 3 weeks ago, where just now they start recycling within UK. Just now started. So to learn this process and optimize this process can take months, if not years. So this is where we are in terms of battery technology within UK. Okay, let's take a look at perhaps approaches and how they're looking to tackle this issue, right? To build on our strengths. Okay. So perhaps access to high level of manufacturing and skills. Okay, so we're looking to build on that. The strategy is based around design, build, sustain approach. Okay, good. Design. Let's start with design. Design and develop the batteries of the future that are smaller. Okay, it's gonna be challenging, but okay, that's the targets, ambitious targets that they might set for themselves. From there, they're progressing into lighter, okay, and offer battery capacity and value, building on UK's world-leading research and innovation. If you ask me if it's impossible to do, yes, of course it's impossible to do, and there are some promising projects out there who are working to develop that. In particular, when it comes to taking some of the materials, but you might see a lot of fireworks. Just because how we're gonna do it. So because it might make the battery slightly more unstable, but there's impossible to do. So we need to overcome a lot of challenges, right? But without going too much into detail, fireworks is not something that we are all looking for. But it's if you're asking, it's impossible to do, right? From there, we're progressing to ABC. A. Continue to support innovative across the battery value chain. Okay, good. We're looking to support that. Let's see more evidence of how we're going to do that, as well as B. Exploring innovative financial mechanisms to support scale ups. Okay, good. Now, perhaps there's going to be more opportunities. Until now, I haven't seen that many. So perhaps they're going to look how to develop more entry level of businesses entering and tackling this problem. So good. C. Maintain, strengthen battery safety and product standards to support growth and protect workers and consumers. Okay, safety. So they are addressing that. Perhaps they do know something of that. Is in particular tackling some of those new technologies. Things can happen. Hopefully not. Okay, good. Let's progress. We have finished design. Now we're progressing into build. Working closely with our domestic industry and international partners to secure a resilient UK battery manufacturing supply chain that supports our strong domestic growth and thriving export market. Okay, good. They're looking to perhaps not only manufacture domestically, but perhaps once that's been completed, perhaps sign a lot of trade agreements. So it would be cost-effective way of. So we're looking at our current administration staff of government, right? So we will sign some of those agreements. Let's highlight those what kind of agreements and what they're going to be working to signing, so it will be more cost effective way of trading more. We have perhaps signed it with Australia. Perhaps we can see more of those, right? B or the D. Strengthen the resilience of UK supply chain, including throughout the automotive transformation fund and or UK critical material strategy. Okay, right. So we're gonna be taking a look at the fundamentals. Oh, I have seen some of those programs out there where they perhaps looking to develop new workforce. Okay, so what they're looking. Okay. uh, okay, so so this kind of strategy, it's long-term strategy, right? So it's good that they're doing that. But basically, if we're gonna go with this strategy, I can start looking for supplier from other countries. If we're gonna go with this strategy. Even right now, there's a lot of support coming when it comes to training of some of those professionals, right? So, which is good. It's good that you're doing it. It's a long-term strategy, which is good. But for example, identifying the facilitating the skills needed for the battery sector. So we're looking to train those. So perhaps we're looking to build those infrastructure when it comes to training and everything. When professionals, what we're talking about time frame, about 3 or perhaps even longer, right? And the developing of all of those networks can take even longer than that. 3 years is very ambitious. Again, 3 years is very ambitious. So at least they're looking to address that. I don't know, it's worth looking at anything like that, other than perhaps calling other suppliers and purchasing some batteries from somewhere else. Yourself, if you're interested in learning more in Flow, that's a quarter planner I have developed when it comes to optimizing and working on your routines, developing habits, right? If you were to stick to things, right? If it's something, if you yourself you're looking to tackle some of those issues that we're covering here within this video, right? Training of professionals, and we're setting a time frame of 3 or so years to develop those professionals within supply chain, right? You would need to have a habit and sticking to that habit. If you were to pick up his journal, I would highly recommend to work from cover to cover. That would be enough time to develop a habit, as well as every page would be a window of 24 hours and how you can optimize that window, focusing on particular areas that would be important for everyone. You can find it in QR code in the corner or company's website below. Uh, when it comes to refining those resources, right? Perhaps even taking a look at when it comes to security of economy and everything, they perhaps even looking to refine those natural resources, which would be the way to go and develop that workforce for a very long time. Or more cost-effective way would be purchase those natural resources from outside, right? Even that would be one of those issues. But again, we're taking a look at the time frame. That would be another 5 years or so. It's where they would need to develop that. So again, it would be such a challenging task to do. What it's at least compared to what 5 years or bandage, right? So good that they're doing something. Anything. Let's finish on that on a positive note. It's good that they're doing something. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.